death of a 90-year-old male after a traffic crash. And how this whole thing unfolded, it started, well, you know what, Nikki, we don't have these, well, the times are on there, okay. About 12:11 in the afternoon. An officer was on routine patrol westbound on 23rd when she saw a Volkswagen run a stop sign at 23rd and Payne. The officer then, so this was at, these times are important, okay, so it was at 12:11 and 41 seconds. The incident was over at 12:11 and 55 seconds, so it was a 14-second police involvement in this incident. It happened very, very fast. The officer then turns around in an attempt to make a traffic stop on this Volkswagen because of the violation. And it was a Chevy Tahoe, and some of those intersections are kind of tight, so it took her, she made a 3-point turn to catch up to this vehicle. The vehicle turns from Burns onto 23rd to 21st Street, and the officer is attempting to catch up to the vehicle and activates her emergency lights. The suspect turns on to eastbound 21st from Burns, and the officer loses sight of the vehicle on this corner. And as she comes around, the next thing she sees on this stretch is the vehicle had crashed at 21st and Arkansas. An 18-year-old male fled the scene on foot, and there was a short foot pursuit. There was an animal control officer who was at that intersection apparently doing some paperwork, and he assisted in catching this suspect. While that suspect fled, he tossed a gun as he was running. Now, the individual that was the suspect in this case is a violent offender. Last month he was arrested and jailed on 2 burglary counts and 3 theft charges that are pending in district court. He is a suspect in several recent violent crimes as well that are still under investigation that I can't elaborate on at this time, as we're still actively investigating them, and we don't want to do anything to hinder the investigation in those cases. So I can't provide any further information on the violent crime incidents. I did speak with the family of the 91-year-old male who has been identified as James Dexter. He died later at a hospital later in the afternoon. And I spoke with 2 of his children, and you know, obviously this is heartbreaking for them, and it's a tough way to lose a parent. And at this time, though, the family did, they provided us pictures that we'll give to you, but at this time they don't want to give any statement, and they're just asking for privacy. So this is what happened, you know, in this unfortunate incident. As I said, the whole time from the point where the officer turned around and the crash was 14 seconds. And you know, at this time, really our thoughts and prayers are with the family of Mr. Dexter. Because it was so quick, there's not a lot of other information to give, but I'll be happy to answer a couple questions if there's things I can clarify or that I didn't make clear. It was, like I said, very quick. The officer was heading westbound on 23rd when she saw him blow the stop sign. Took her a little bit to get turned around. She had him in her sights along here, lost him here, and then when she was driving along here, she saw him again. She saw the crash pretty much immediately at 21st and Arkansas.
So was it Tahoe Jeep and a Volkswagen?
The officer was driving a Tahoe, so those are a little bigger. It took her a little more time to turn around, and you know, it just. My point of that is to show more of what happened in those 14 seconds. The stolen vehicle, that Volkswagen, was a stolen vehicle from a burglary that had happened earlier in the day.
Now, did KHP go out and assist this, and if they did, why?
Yeah, so when we have incidents where we're even somewhat involved in, we like to have independent review of the incident, so there can't be any questions as to, the police are doing this on their own. So the KHP comes in and looks at it independently as well, and they also do their own investigation into what happened. So again, it's just for transparency and to ensure accountability and whatnot.
Chief, was it a handgun that the suspect had? And do we know if it was stolen?
It was a handgun. Don't know that at this time, but it was a handgun. Yeah.
Do we have
So,
that?
the red line on Payne,
Yes.
why is that there? So was he driving
This is
there?
where, so she sees him come out and blows the stop sign. This
So
is,
she's coming up from there?
she's coming this way.
Oh, and
He's
coming
going
from
this way.
there. Okay.
And this is his route. She takes her a little while to get turned around here, follows him this way, loses sight of him here.
Okay.
And then as she comes around, the next thing she sees is him crash there.
Do we have identity on the suspect, Chief?
We do. And his, so 18-year-old Alex Davis is his name. Davis.
Was he enrolled in any school or was he out of school?
I don't know. All I know is that we knew him, we were aware of him and had arrested him. Do we have the dates on here, Nikki, when he was arrested?
September.
So last month he was arrested in jail on 2 burglary charges and 3 theft charges.
September 21st.
So he was arrested on September 21st. Do you have the release date?
I don't.
Okay. And then released. So he was released from jail pending those charges that were out there.
Chief, can we get the spelling of the victim?
James, common spelling, Dexter, Dexter, 91 years of age.
And then did he hit the Ford Fusion, the 91-year-old's car, like directly on the side, or do you know exactly like, how the crash unfolded once there?
So there's some of that we're still putting together. His direction, though, Nikki.
Southbound.
Yeah. So he was the victim in this case was southbound, and as you can see, the suspect was.
But you don't know if it was like you don't know exactly where he hit on it.
Not exactly on the vehicle. No, there was significant damage. There was speed was definitely a factor in the injuries and in the crash.
Where does the investigation go from here, Chief?
Sure. So they're tying up the loose ends. They go out and they map the scene. They'll be, as part of the investigation, they'll be trying to figure out the speeds of the suspect vehicle, what happened at the intersection. Right now, it appears from witness information that the suspect blew the red light, went through the red light. And so they will just be confirming all that and making sure all the facts are gathered and that we have everything straight on what occurred. Measurements, potential speeds, all the witnesses are interviewed. I should add that, so it took the officer, when she saw the crash, it took her 9 additional seconds to get to the scene. So he was significantly ahead of her.
And then what was he booked in jail for again?
Nikki,
I'll
what
go
was it?
over
Okay, Nikki's got all that info.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, any other questions? All right, thanks, guys.
Also, real quick, I got the case number for that incident as well. Case number is gonna be 16C 74674. 16C 74674 is the incident. He was booked for burglary, larceny, theft, and that was the stolen vehicle. Also numerous traffic charges, felony flee, and elude police, and murder as well.
Why not homicide, or vehicular homicide?
That might be included. I'm not sure. I don't have the exact state statutes that he was arrested for, but I'm not sure if that includes vehicular homicide but obviously you have a murder charge when there's additional felonies that are included with that. It's not just an accident, right? It was an intentional act that he was running away from the police, involved in other felonies. So that's going to boost up your case severity. All right, right now I got Christy Shunn of the Kansas Infant Death SIDS Network. She's going to come up here and talk to you a little bit about a news release. Christy?
Chrissy, can you spell your name for us?
I will. Christy is Christy. Last name is Shunn, Schunn. Yesterday, the American Academy of Pediatrics released new safe sleep guidelines for infants. This is the first update since 2011. The policy reads that infants should sleep in the same room as the parents, but on a separate sleep surface, such as a crib or bassinet, and never on a couch, armchair, or soft surface. And this will decrease the risk of sleep-related deaths. These updates and guidelines are an important step towards further reducing infant deaths. It's indicative of the growing need to provide a simple and consistent safe sleep message. The Kids Network will continue to promote the ABCs of safe sleep, which include a baby sleeping always alone on his or her back in a clutter-free crib, along with the other recommendations that have been updated. The AAP recommends creating a safe sleep environment to include placing the infant on his or her back on a firm sleep surface, such as a crib or bassinet, with a taut sheet and mattress. Avoid using soft bedding, including crib bumpers, blankets, pillows, and soft toys. Basically, the crib should be completely bare, except for the baby, the sheet, and the tight-fitting mattress. We want babies to share a bedroom with parents, but not the same sleep surface, preferably until the baby turns at least 6 months or for the first full year of life. Room sharing decreases the risk of SIDS by as much as 50%. We want to also avoid babies' exposure to smoke, alcohol, and illicit drugs. The American Academy of Pediatrics also said that skin-to-skin contact is recommended, regardless of the feeding or the delivery method of the infant, immediately following the birth for at least an hour, as soon as the mother is medically stable and able to be awake. Breastfeeding continues to be recommended, and it adds a secondary protection against sudden infant death syndrome. However, after feeding, the American Academy of Pediatrics encourages parents to move the baby to his or her separate sleep environment. Again, preferably a crib, a bassinet, or a portable crib in the parent's bedroom. Some of the other recommendations that are just reiterated again is to offer a pacifier for every sleep time, to not use home monitors or commercial devices. Those things are things like wedges, positioners, that are specifically marketed to reduce SIDS, where in fact that they don't. And so home monitoring systems and certain mattresses and different devices are not found from a research perspective to have actually decreased any of the risks of SIDS. We also know that infants should receive all of their scheduled vaccinations. That is a protective measure against SIDS. And that supervised awake tummy time is recommended due to the facilitating of development and healthy development. What we also know is that caring for a newborn can be overwhelming, but these updated recommendations will help caregivers make safe sleep choices for their newborns. Earlier this month, the Kansas Department of Health and Environment announced a reduction in the state's infant mortality rate in 2015. This reduction represents an infant mortality rate of 5.9 deaths per 1,000 live births, or a total of about 230 reported infant deaths in Kansas. This is still too many deaths dying before their first baby, or before their first birthday. While we are encouraged by last year's progress, we also are aware of the rates in 2016 and know that some of those sleep-related deaths have increased. And so we are paying particular attention and committing our work to partners across the state to continue intervention efforts to decrease infant mortality. We want to reduce the racial disparity within birth outcomes and protect the lives of the state's youngest and obviously most vulnerable population. One of the most basic indicators of health of a community is the infant mortality rate. It reflects the association between the causes of infant mortality and other factors that are likely to influence the health status of the whole population, such as economic development, general living conditions, social well-being, where basic needs are met, rates of illness, and quality of the environment. The Kids Network works throughout the state to reduce the number of infant deaths. On an annual basis, the network provides safe sleep training to more than 4,500 parents, child care providers, caregivers, and professionals in Kansas through hands-on demonstrations. An additional 13,475 community members are connected through other outreach activities, including bereavement support and fundraising efforts. Under the leadership of former Lieutenant Ken Landwehr, Doctors Mary Dudley and Jamie Obersk, and currently Lieutenant Todd Ogile, the Kids Network trains law enforcement, emergency medical services, and the fire department on what's called sudden unexplained infant death investigation guidelines. These guidelines assist in the accurate diagnosis and classification of these sleep-related deaths and leads to the prevention efforts that we're talking about with the American Academy of Pediatrics. The Kids Network is a nonprofit agency serving individuals who have been touched by the tragedy of infant death, or SIDS, in Kansas. In addition to those individuals or organizations who strive to reduce infant mortality by providing supportive services, community education, professional training, and supporting associated research. Over the years, many people have heard about the Back to Sleep campaign. The American Academy of Pediatrics launched that in 1992. Again, came back and said back is best, not even side position, in 1994. Like I said, the last updates were made in 2011, where we said that the importance of breastfeeding, immunizations, and the removal of bumper pads was really important. And so in 2016, what we're saying is, again, the babies need to sleep alone on their back in a clutter-free crib. Home monitoring devices and special mattresses don't actually have any research to prove that they reduce the rate of SIDS in any way. And to make sure that that baby's sleeping in the same room, but a separate sleep surface than the adults. The Kids Network can be reached at 682-1301 for any other questions. Our website, kidsks.org, can be leveraged for more information on safe sleep. And this is a collaborative effort with the Maternal Infant Health Coalition that exists here in Kansas, basically because of the high rate of infant mortality that we've seen in the last many years. So we're making efforts to reduce those rates, and these recommendations will help us to educate the greater population. Thank you. Any questions? Thank you
so much.
All right. Just a couple of things that I wanted to go over with you. We're starting to see with the cooler temperatures in the morning that vehicle thefts are going to start being an issue that we're dealing with people leaving their car warming as they're not inside the car. So we want to get on top of it before it starts happening when it starts getting a little bit cooler this fall. So we want to put every year when the weather begins to turn colder, the Wichita Police Department observes an increase of thefts in vehicles that are left running unattended. Unfortunately, criminals driving the streets in the early morning look for easy vehicles to steal. Having your vehicle stolen can cause major headaches, as you may not get your vehicle back. You may get your vehicle back but damaged, and you may have left valuables in the car, which will also have been taken in addition to your vehicle. Even running back inside quickly just to grab coffee or briefcase or something that you left inside can make your vehicle susceptible to having it stolen. Please do not make yourself an easy victim this fall and winter season by leaving your vehicle running unattended. Get up a few minutes earlier to make sure that you wait in your vehicle as it warms up so you can get safely to your destination without having your vehicle stolen. Also, if you see something suspicious in your neighborhood, please call 911 immediately and report this behavior. Okay. The only other thing that I want to put out today is just our continuation of the anti-bullying campaign. October is Bully Awareness Month, so we will continue to do that. We've partnered up with USD 259, Cake News, and iHeartRadio. This is the second day of it. Today, the Public Relations Unit will be Facebook Live at Horace Mann School, speaking to staff about bully prevention. This will take place at 1:00 p.m. on the Wichita Police Department Facebook Live, so please tune in and join us in discussing this important topic. Okay. Thank you guys very much. Have a good day.